Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby.
Hello and welcome to Movies vs. Capitalism, an anti-capitalist movie podcast. I'm Frank.
And I'm Rivka. Frank, it's been a minute since we recorded.
It's been a minute. It's been a few weeks, and holy shit, a few weeks it has been. Or it feels more. It feels like it's been several months or years since we've spoken. So much has happened.
Shit has gone down.
Yeah, shit's really going down. The Civil War, it's happened. It is unfurling before our very eyes.
Turns out it's not. It's a little different than the movie.
You mean that movie that had absolutely no politics whatsoever? Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out this one has a lot of politics, and you can actually point fingers at who the players are.
Yeah, and people can point fingers at whoever
sort of situation.
No, it is not a both sides, and people can just make up enemies. That's been the most. So we're kind of like we're dancing around at the. Charlie Kirk was killed last week. We're recording this on Monday, September 15th. We're not going to like get deep into it, but the thing that has really wilded me out on everything that has transpired since is just like, and we know that Republicans are liars. Democrats are liars too in their own way, but like, you know, Republicans are like brazen, like this, we're going to call reality, not reality type of liars. And the way that they have just been like, making this a left violence issue is just like has been insane to me. I'm like what world? And then like with the more we find out about the shooter, blah blah blah, whatever. And I'm like, but they're just like saying things like this is the radical left. These are Democrats. This is left violence. This is whatever. And I'm like, what fucking world are these people? Like every demonstrable statistic shows us that like almost all political violence comes from right wingers, and they're like still able to like get up and say this with a straight face. That has been mind boggling to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I told Frank before we got on here, I was like, yeah, I have very little. I just feel like there's so little to even say because it's to that point. Exactly. I shan't.
Yeah, we're not going to go to, and we also know there have been reports already that the FBI is monitoring people's speech on this issue, and people are getting fired left and right. So, so we're going to turn and talk about something that we're a little bit more comfortable talking about on this podcast in this space.
Even though neither one of us watched.
Even though neither of us watched, we're talking about the Emmy Awards. TV's
we
biggest
have
night.
Most expertise in, but neither of us fucking watched the thing. And we're still going to fucking talk about it. So there you go.
Look, I watched some clips. We watched some clips in preparation. For our purposes, I think we don't need to talk about, you know, how the studio broke Emmys records history with the most wins and like that's whatever. Congratulations to Seth Rogen. I hope he enjoys all of the money that he has. But we're going to talk about the
surprise. They liked the show about themselves.
Surprise. I mean, I did really love the studio. I think
agree.
Were you a little bit more mixed on the studio?
I was mixed. I didn't fully watch it, but I do love Seth Rogen. I gotta say, the normie show he's in, Platonic with Rose Byrne.
I've heard it's very good.
I laugh my tits off. I think it's very funny. So it's just real normie comedy, and I'm here for it. But I do think it's funny that you're like, this is of course they're like the studio. Love it.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's
Says the studio.
The show that celebrates literally the people who are at the top of the food chain in Hollywood.
Humanizes the capitalists and the capitalist structure.
Yeah, humanizes the poor executive class in Hollywood. But no, we're going to talk more about the political moments of the night. And there were two standouts. So I think you brought this up before I even saw it.
Yeah, I mean, there were two. The one that I really was moved by, and I didn't, and I think, well, first let me ask you, why didn't you watch?
Oh, I was too busy. I simply had too many things to do.
Social butterfly, social calendar.
Wasn't even social. It's just like I have home things to do. I have like family things to take care of. We're still fostering this rescue cat that is a real handful. Just like life stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit down and watch a 4-hour telecast about like shit that I don't really care. I mean, this is a movie podcast. I love film and TV. The Emmys was never really my thing. I'm more of like, if I'm going to sit down and watch something, it will be the Oscars. Also, like, I like Nate Bargatze a lot, who hosted, but I heard, or I read, and I saw some clips that he wasn't
Not very funny.
kind of like lukewarm, which is a bummer for him. Yeah, so I didn't sit down. Why didn't you watch, Rivka?
I didn't watch because I just find it like it just felt like so spectacle. I don't know. There was something about just like even looking at clips. I mean, I think the only clips I really could engage with were the political ones because it just felt so like such spectacle. And there's so many moments that feel just like stomach churny in the face of this genocide.
Sure.
Miss Rachel had a post that I think hit the nail on the head of just like there's, you know, a baby whose leg is falling off and I'm not going to fucking give a fuck about what you're wearing. Was better, more eloquent, but like that was kind of just like I think the juxtaposition of the spectacle made me a little like made me sick. Not that like if you watched, shame on you, just like that was my experience of just, you know, we have that everywhere. We still have to exist within the society and we're confronted with the ridiculousness and the spectacle of our everyday lives in this country all the time. But that was just a moment where I was like, ooh, I can't.
I think that's totally fair. I think that's totally to
but, you
not
know,
disengage
you were busy,
with
whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't really making like a moral choice. I just had to walk the dog, and I was like, I can't do this tonight. But there were two moments. So the first one was Javier Bardem on the red carpet.
Here I am today denouncing the genocide in Gaza. I'm talking about the IAGS, which is the International Association of Genocide Scholars, who study thoroughly genocide and has declared it is a genocide. And that's why we ask for a commercial and diplomatic blockade and also sanctions on Israel to stop the genocide, free Palestine.
And yeah, I thought this clip was, I thought if you're going to use the stage of the spectacle for a purpose like this, I think we're at a point where just saying free Palestine isn't enough. It's a statement without like a call to action. And here there's a real call to action, at least for those in the film industry and fellow artists, and to have someone who certainly is, you know, a celebrity at the top of their field, you definitely has jobs to lose, you know, like no one has to give this man any more work to advocate for not working. I don't think he says Zionist. I think he says for anyone who is upholding this genocide. Like I just
who's defending or supporting the genocide.
Yeah, and then to be really specific about, just like really intentional about what he was going out there to use the red carpet for, wearing the kufiya, and then also saying, you know, this is why we signed this pledge for film workers for Palestine, and to reiterate like the purpose of this, and to note like we're not going to be taking part in whitewashing or justifying genocide, you know. So I think that kind of action is so crucial, because it can't just be, hey, I'm gonna point to like I'm on the right side of history, I'm saying this thing. It's like, how are you using your worker power in this moment? Sorry, my baby's crying. It sounds more chaotic than it is. It's just the nighttime. He's partying, really, is what it is. He gets like.
I think it's okay. I think people understand that like a 4-month-old baby is prone to crying
He's
very,
not alone.
very loudly.
My husband's with him. I'm not like out here like
Tommy's in the other
room.
Tommy's in the other room. We promise.
Yeah, he's just likes to party around this time.
Okay, we have Eddie here with us now. We took a quick break, but Eddie is officially here. You might hear Eddie on the podcast
Debut.
No, I thought that was such a good point, what you made about like these industry professionals now not just using their words, but like actually demanding some sort of like organized movement or some sort of like, which is like part of the BDS movement. And you mentioned the Film Workers for Palestine pledge, which is it just happened a few weeks ago, where I think it's like now 1,400 film professionals who said they are not going to work with any Israeli film institutions or companies that are, like Javier Bardem said, defending or supporting this genocide. So it is a little bit more of an actual concrete action. So
he did also in that interview reference a cycling event in Spain where the people had protested against having the Israeli team join, and I just think that was Yes, Papa. I just think that was important because he's also connecting film workers to other, to just like that. Anytime you're kind of taking this like Hollywood celebrity outside of this like golden circle of like special people who are not actual laborers, is important to connect that to like the larger picture of like the working class.
And then there was the second moment of the night, which came from Hacks star Hannah Einbinder, who won for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what she won for. But at the end of her speech, she said, "Fuck ICE, free Palestine."
Well, first she said like a sports team.
Oh, yes. She did say it. She said, "Go Birds, fuck ICE." Well, I thought no one cared about the birds, but I guess maybe you do. So
no, I thought that was a good lead because I think maybe that was strategically like get people's attention. They don't know what's coming.
Sure. Yeah. A little bit of a misdirect. So yeah, the full phrase was "Go Birds, fuck ICE, free Palestine." And then afterwards, in a follow-up interview, someone asked her about saying "free Palestine," and she said this.
I thought it was important to talk about Palestine because it's an issue that's very dear to my heart. I have friends in Gaza who are working as frontline workers, as doctors right now in the north of Gaza to provide care for pregnant women and for school children, to create schools in the refugee camps. And it's an issue that's really close to my heart. For many reasons, I feel like it is my obligation as a Jewish person to distinguish Jews from the state of Israel.
So yeah, so I thought it was really great that she had the chance to elaborate after the acceptance speech and clarify like what her position is, the fact that she has friends who are frontline doctors, and specifically, coming at this as a Jewish person, saying like, I do not want my Jewish identity tied to the state of Israel. So just getting that on even more of a public platform. And she is also a signatory to the Filmmakers for Palestine pledge that we just mentioned.
And I believe Hollywood Reporter, there were some fucked up op-eds. No, Hannah, that wasn't brave, a guest column. So
from the fucking Hollywood Reporter, like, what is the Hollywood Reporter doing, like running Hasbara? Like, aren't they just like reporting on like?
And of course, it starts at as a queer Jew, son of refugees from Iraq and Tunisia, who has dedicated my life to fighting anti-Semitism. I read Hannah Einberg's Emmy comments with sadness and fear. So kind of just suggesting, and then just even start that article. You know what I mean? Just like to be like the identity wars of like, even within, okay, well, she's not, I have these identity codes before her as like a Jewish person. Like, can we just fucking just like, it's a fucking genocide. Shut the fuck up. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
No, you're right. At this point, you don't need to qualify identity-wise in order to see what is happening and say this is evil and needs to stop.
Exhausting. You're like, oh, the only identity that matters, I'm a fucking human being who doesn't want to see other human beings be fucking blown up and murdered in the most horrific ways. Don't oppose genocide. That's it. We don't need your fucking think piece. Right, Eddie?
Right, Eddie? So I think for Eddie's...
No, just kidding.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
We just found out that Eddie was a Zionist.
Eddie's finger goes up. I disagree.
His first words are, "But do you condemn Hamas?"
Jesus. Oh, my God. Just a string of things just now.
What a wild tangent. All right, for all of our sakes, but for especially Eddie's, let's wrap it there for today and get to our movie conversation. A very fun one about the 2001 espionage thriller Spy Game. But really quickly, just want to remind our audience that this is your first time here, that we don't sell ads on this show. We rely on community support. So if you want to do that, you can subscribe to our Patreon.
That's right. It's just $5 a month, which is now like half the price of like a latte. I think lattes are now like $10 fucking if you're tipping.
I haven't bought coffee out in years.
Good
I'm a brew at home person.
Brew at home. I'm a visualize how I may do that one day and then just like can't get to it person. So I am out there. But this is just half of that, and you get access to all our new bonus episodes and our entire back catalog. You can find our Patreon link in the episode description or in your podcast player or at mvcpod.com. Also, make sure to rate, review, subscribe to this podcast on your podcast player so you don't miss new episodes.
And because we don't sell ads, we donate our ad space to leftist or progressive organizations. So if you want to run an ad on this show, you can email us at moviesvscapitalism@gmail.com.
All right, we are going to take a break. We'll be right back with our guest Assad Shalhoub to talk about Spy Game. Hey everyone, we've got a great organization we want to tell you about called Theater Workers for a Ceasefire. They organize US-based theater workers in solidarity with the people of Palestine. The easiest campaign to plug into is the PAC-B working group.
Rivka, what is PAC-B?
Great question, Frank. It stands for the Palestinian Campaign for the Academic and Cultural Boycott of Israel. It's basically the cultural wing of the BDS movement. Since 2004, it has organized with partners globally to end all forms of cultural and academic complicity with apartheid Israel as the most meaningful form of pressure to compel it to comply with international law.
The working group meets every other week, and the goal is to enlist theatrical organizations to take up PAC-B's guidelines for divestment from Israel's genocide and occupation. It's open to anyone who lives in the US and works in theater.
Theater Workers for a Ceasefire also hosts events in New York like teach-ins and organizes contingents for marches and protests.
You can learn more, join the group, or support their work at tw4c.com. Theater Workers for Ceasefire, tw4c.com, or find them on Instagram at Theater Workers for Ceasefire.
Love you, comrades. Now back to the show.
Today we are joined by Assad Shalhoub, who is a Lebanese Canadian American from a mixed religious background. Multi-hyphenate Assad has done it all: model, actor, fitness influencer, music producer, videographer, photographer, and co-host of the Habibi House Podcast. Few have a more diverse perspective in the creative industry. His exceptional eye, his drive for perfection, and his steadfast activism are all propellers for his standout work. Assad, welcome to Movies versus Capitalism.
Thank you. For the record, I did not type that myself. Just kidding. I did.
I was going to say.
No. My partner, Stevie from Mina Creator Club, is the writer. So she definitely hyped me up. I literally just ripped that from the website that we have.
I love a hyped up bio.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
Yeah. Especially if it's written by someone else. That's so nice.
As you guys know, like you guys living in LA, like multi-hyphenate is just another like thing that people say out here. Like you have to just say it.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah,
be.
I like that that you didn't say multi-hyphenate. We just named all of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. I'm here for it.
But yeah, appreciate you guys having me. I was excited to meet Frank at the Zateo event, and
yes,
I'm glad that you guys do this podcast. It just so happened that I had seen the movie that we were going to talk about, and then also screenshotted a lot of. I wanted to do actually a post about it, like a carousel post, but this is even better. So I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah. So a little bit of background: we met at Zateo event in LA. And I'd seen clips from Habibi House Podcast. I've listened to a few episodes. Did not put two and two together that you were one of the hosts because you were working.
Oh, I was working too. Yeah,
in a very multi-hyphenate fashion. You were a videographer this night, and you were conducting BTS interviews, all of that stuff. And then then we just started chatting, and I was like, oh fuck, you're that Assad from the Habibi House Podcast. So. Ended up working out serendipitously. But so before we get into the movie that we're going to talk about, because you and I immediately, we started texting and you were like, oh, have you seen this fucking movie? But we'll get there. How you obviously you do a lot of different things.
Right.
You have an eclectic background. How did you find yourself in this line of work, hosting the Habibi House podcast and somewhere in the intersection of media creation and also political activism?
Well, movies versus capitalism is a very adjacent thing to us, to why we did Habibi House. It's not exactly, but it's very similar. And this is why I jumped at the opportunity to be on the show, because it's very similar in the sense that it was kind of like this mixture. So I met my two co-hosts through a mutual friend, and we ended up being like bros, like sitting on a couch, and we're just like, yeah, we should look. These conversations are dope, man. Like we should have a podcast, you know, like every toxic bro. But 99% of guys won't follow through, and we were like priding ourselves being the 1% that at least attempted to start a podcast. This was like July 2022, and then we recorded our first episode February 2023. So we had started before the world started, right, on October 7th, because that's when when time started, apparently. But basically, we had a few episodes. We were getting our feet wet and basically just developing the infrastructure of the podcast. AI was booming, so we kind of used the first episode was painstakingly, like we had to switch between cameras manually, and it was insane. So luckily, by the second episode, AI helped us do like the busy work. So we started really tapping into that world as well. And then we kept doing it. We were all doing different parts of the entertainment business. So I came from a fitness background, but I also did photography, videography. My other co-host, that's Palestinian from Gaza. He's a rapper, Palestinian rapper. He's like a conscious rapper. So he's very outspoken through his music. And then the other co-host is Lebanese, and he's an actor. Like that's his main thing. But we all kind of do different pockets, and there's a lot of crossover. So our mission statement was kind of like 3 Arabs navigating Hollywood and the BS that comes with it.
Totally.
And there really wasn't an Arab American podcast out there, so we were solving that problem as well. And it just really resonated with people. Like we were speaking to our community. You know, obviously it's there's really no good way to put this, but we had the platform ready when shit hit the fan. Yeah. By October 2023, when this tragedy is started. I mean, obviously it's been happening for much longer, but when it really escalated to unprecedented levels, we at least had the infrastructure ready for people to actually, because a lot of people were like on the fence about talking. Like we even kind of didn't. We talked about Palestine a little bit. But, we were, again, it goes back to our question mark in our brains where we're like, should we talk about it, or is it going to ruin our careers? We were actually thinking about that pre-October 7th. So we were worried, like we were navigating and walking on eggshells. But once the gloves came off, a lot of people, just like us, were more galvanized to, speak out more. So we were able to just provide the platform for people that were just had enough, So we've been doing that since then. We just recently interviewed Cenk from the Young Turks, which is pretty cool. Anna Kasparian, possibly next week. I don't know when this is going to come out. And obviously, every time we post somebody, the comments, like everyone has a problem with everybody. So, like we can't. Sure. But we just try to have if somebody says "fuck Israel," you're on my side, basically. So I know there's people that with a lot of baggage, but we just try to provide a platform and go against the narrative of what people are used to. So like for example, when I approached Cenk, I was like, people see the stereotype of like a brown guy yelling all the time. How about we have like a more like a conversation where it's just like you feel more comfortable, or you're more at home with like-minded people, because you're always like yelling across Piers Morgan's face to like a Zionist, and I feel like that's not good for your health, bro. So it's like let's have a conversation where we can get heated, but we're on the same side.
You're amongst friends.
Yes. So it's like a safe space to like roast people. So yeah, that's cool. And like, we're just talking to people that I would have like it's been incredible so far. And I know I went on this like monologue about this, but yeah, it's been incredible talking to a lot of really cool people, and it's just about when they come to LA. As I was saying off camera, like we're purists and we try to like get people into the studio, and we're always like, we're conveniently located next to LAX, so it's like people will be like flying in and out just to like come on the show, which is like incredible. So yeah.
Damn, very cool.
Yeah, I'm so happy you shared that with us, because we are always interested in how alternative media begins. And I know we have a lot of listeners who are interested in that path as well, and breaking off from those sort of Frank and I's genesis as well. Like, how do you breaking up with the mainstream or the attempts at a career in a certain way, and the freedom that comes with that to be able to be like, fuck it, we want a place where we can say what we need to say, pushing past the fear of being reprimanded, blacklisted in this industry. And that is so fucking powerful. And you see how the right has kind of commandeered that. So it's great to see, and we're so happy to hear about the success that Habibi House is having.
I appreciate that, and also on the, going back to the kind of full circle to Zeteo, like I made the joke that like Jank and Mahdi Hassan and Hassan Piker and these like guys who are like elite in their own right in independent media are like the Thanos like Infinity Stones that I'm trying to collect, where to get them on the show would be huge. So getting being able to even talk to the Zeteo team, shout out Bina, basically, like just being able to casually be like, hey, like, can we just have a conversation with friends, as you said. So yeah, it's just. I think independent media is king. Mahdi has also shown that like he is. It's possible. For the longest time, people were like, "Oh, you can't. You have to do the mainstream," and we're countering that. So as you said, alternative media, independent media is the new. Like I think these. It's again going back to the MO of this entire podcast is like. The mainstream capitalist stuff is dead. People have had enough.
Big time. Yes. And that we all succeed better when we support one another. It's like it is very anti-capitalist in that way, where like I mean, we just ran a promo where we were also like promoting Drop Site News and The Lever over at Zeteo. We did like a 3-way like promo. I come from the podcasting world, and back in the early days of podcasting in like 2011, like all of those, and I specifically came from the comedy podcasting world, but like all of those people who had shows were just like having each other on their shows, constantly promoting each other's shows. It was very much like a rising tide lifts all boats sort of mentality. And I think especially now in 2025 in the independent media space, in the political independent media space, and the left independent media space, like we have to support each other, because there's no like, billionaire benefactors or corporations that are going to come in and start, just throwing a bunch of money at us, because like we're against everything that they stand for.
100%. But it's been crazy to see also the right independent media, or people who have been historically right, still like for some reason we can agree. You're seeing this again. We talked about this on our latest episode or 2 episodes ago, where it's been insane. Like when people leave the empire, basically, where you see the Tucker Carlsons, Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene is still in Congress, but like it seems like for some reason on Israel, like these they're trying to really be America first. Meanwhile, we have people in our government where it's really America last. So basically, so like we're seeing that too, which is weird. Like the left and the right seem to be agreeing on one thing, and it's been really mind blowing to see.
Yeah, strange bedfellows, like the literal definition of that.
I have a feeling in our conversation about this film, we might be able to circle back to this theme.
I feel like that freeze frame from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he's like trying to connect all the
Charlie with the yarn map.
Yeah. So that's me all the time, like just connecting things that might not connect. So I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, that's great.
Theories.
Let's get into it because Frank and I we're so excited to talk about this movie with you. We are talking about Spy Game. This film was released on November 19th, 2001, and it was directed by Tony Scott, written by Michael Frost Beckner and David Arata, starring Robert Redford, Brad Pitt, Catherine McCormick, Stephen Delane, and Larry Brigman. Had a budget of $115 million and a box office of about $143 million.
God damn, that's an enormous budget. That is an enormous budget for a 2001 spy drama, but
which came out like a couple months after September 11th too.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
September, October, November, yeah.
And in case you haven't recently watched Spy Game, although I think it was on Netflix for a while recently. A short synopsis. Spy Game follows veteran CIA spook Nathan Muir. It's a weird last name.
It's a very strange last name.
Muir on his last day before retirement, as he learns that his former protege, Tom Bishop, has been captured in China and faces execution in 24 hours. Through flashbacks to the Vietnam War, Cold War spy missions, and tense negotiations at CIA headquarters, Muir uses cunning manipulation and old school spycraft. Spycraft makes me laugh. To outwit is that what it is? To outwit his own agency.
Spycraft.
No, I know, but it's
a funny word.
It's a funny word, and he's a funny spy. So
yeah,
we'll get into it. To outwit his own agency and orchestrate Bishop's rescue.
So a little bit of historical context for when the film was released. As we mentioned, November 19th, 2001, 2 months after the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center. This is the sixth film we've covered from 2001. The others were Josie and the Pussycats, Zoolander, Rat Race, Monsters, Inc., and Enemy at the Gates.
What a year!
Bangers.
Other things happening this year. In January, George W. Bush was inaugurated as the 43rd president of the United States. The U.S. economy entered a recession in March 2001, which was characterized by declining GDP growth, rising unemployment, and a decline in the stock market. The Enron scandal happened, which involved the manipulation of energy markets and the eventual bankruptcy of the company, which was a major financial event that shook the global economy in 2001. This was also the year of the anthrax attacks. And in October, the first iPod was released by Apple. So a real hinge year in American history, world history, really. So, Assad, the first thing we start the conversation with, we ask our guest, why did you choose this movie to talk about on this podcast?
Wow. I mean, as you said, it was on Netflix, and I watched it probably like as just kind of something to go to sleep to. But as soon as it I saw Kafia and it hit like Beirut in the 80s, I was like wired at like 2 a.m. basically. So Netflix doesn't let you screenshot, so I had to like take a photo of the screen every time something wild was said or like an interesting freeze frame. So yeah, I had actually, as I said earlier, I sent Frank earlier like a Dropbox of all the freeze frames that were like insane to me. And I was again wanting to make like a swipe post on Instagram showing that because it's so like culturally relevant right now. So yeah, I chose this because of, again, anytime Lebanon or Palestine or anything is mentioned in a movie has such an insane budget. Also, I like to see how they frame it, it's. Now we have a platform to critique the framing of it.
Yeah, and the framing is absolutely fucking batshit. Even at this time, especially at this time, I will say I do remember seeing this movie in and around 2001 and 2002, and at the time thinking, I did, yeah. And I remember thinking, this is a really good movie. At the time, I mean, I was like 13 years old.
I mean, objectively, it's very highly stylized. It's well written and all that. But obviously, when you learn, when you're like, oh, like, you know, your mind is open to the world, then you can go back. There's a lot of movies like that, I think, where you can watch it again and be like, oh shit, that's what they were going for.
Yeah. And it's wild that it came out 2 months after 9/11, because it really feels like, I don't know, like one of the first movies of the post 9/11 era, even though the production of the movie had to have like happened before 9/11.
They were like, they were just like, fuck it. They were like, we filmed it. This is terrible. Like, there is no good time to release this, so fuck it. Let's just let it go.
Let's just put it out.
I bet they were thrilled at the timing, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
For their purposes, they were probably like, great.
I also remember it was a big movie at the time, because it was very much like, because Brad Pitt, everyone had likened Brad Pitt to Robert Redford. So it was very much like, wow, we got them both together. It's like the old hot blonde guy is handing off the mantle to the young hot blonde guy.
Surprise, surprise. In a rom-com, I'll get into it, but like, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it does kind of have the structure of a rom-com a little bit. Yeah.
This was a love story. That's an aside. I can.
Did Robert Redford and Brad Pitt make out, or did I miss that?
They almost did. I mean, they basically did. Like the whole thing. Yeah, I'll get into that. Like they absolutely did. That's what this was.
So you're saying it was a rom-com between them, not between the other person that's involved in the show?
Oh no, it was total. I thought it was like a love story between them.
Okay,
1,000%.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll back it up.
Okay, I got you. I can't wait.
But the fact that it was framed in like, it is such a pro-America, pro-CIA piece of propaganda before the war on terror started is very strange, because like, I don't know, the 80s and the 90s were very much like a lot of the cinema in that time was very much like American filmmakers reckoning with like, especially the Vietnam War, and sort of just like all of the damage that the American empire has wrought. So like, to see this movie having been made before 9/11 takes such a positive look at the CIA's history. I was like, this is fucking crazy. I can't believe that someone decided to make this before 9/11 happened. It's absolutely wild.
See, I thought that made so much sense, because it felt like, I mean, everything we know about it felt like, it's like, of course they knew this was like, you know what I mean? Like Hollywood was preparing for it. Like the propaganda machine was preparing for it ahead of time, because they knew happening.
I see.
Is this a loose change kind of theory happening right now?
I don't even think it's like loose change. Like I was watching, there was some recent like 9/11 documentary on HBO. Just like, I think it's like out there where like these folks, like CIA related, everyone knew what was gonna happen. Like not even in a loose change way, but like everybody was tracking. I think people like saw where this was going. It's not even, I don't think that's like crazy conspiracy to say. I'm not even going there, and I could, you know,
that the blowback was coming at some point.
Yeah, I think Hollywood was getting ready for this kind of propaganda and for supporting American imperialism, military, CIA in this way. I don't like, to me, that doesn't seem, it's not like 9/11 happened. Everyone's like, what happened?
So you're saying it was staged.
That's exactly.
Hollywood staged.
I'm saying
9/11.
Brad Pitt was behind.
Yeah.
And that's the clip we'll use.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis, method acted as Osama bin Laden, and he staged
That's
it.
what I'm fucking saying.
Hey,
no.
if anyone could do it, it would be DDL.
No, but I'm saying like for everything that we know, I mean, in terms like this was, my first note was I was like, oh, this is the good propaganda. Like they have our best. Robert Redford, Brad Pitt. I was like, they have our best in this, and it's good. Like you were saying, you have to, what's so tricky about this stuff is like, you do have to know a little bit, you have to know context, which the average American audience is not going to know. Yeah. And if you don't know context, this works really well to teach you the CIA good when in good hands. Like, you know, they'll act bad if there's some bad apples, but ultimately it's not the structure of the structure of the thing is Robert Redford. And we love these two blonde men. We trust them.
All American
Because of their legacy in film. Like, we immediately trust them. So it's like really good. You know, you're like, I'm rooting for them no matter what goes down.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's so brilliant how they start us off like in Vietnam with like the rock and roll music and like immediately already like, yeah, anything you've heard about Vietnam, like all of that we know, the tragedies, it's not
crazy.
That. We promise you it was rock and roll.
It was so cool.
So cool. It was badass. And I do think, like, I know I was joking, but I do think the heart of this movie was this love story between Brad Pitt's character, the young CIA guy, and Redford's character. And I think the way in which they made it, this sort of like, it was like a seduction. I mean, it was like if you looked at the script, I think intentionally it was very much set up like he was kind of seducing this guy.
Yeah.
Even just the like, I was like, this is hot. Like, you know, and the first time he sees him, and I think Redford knew. I think Redford played it that way too, because even at the very end where they make allusions to like, oh, he had cover wives, none of these were his wives. The one was Pitt. Like, the writing knew. He says he only has one wife, and it's Operation Dinner Out, and these were all cover wives. Like, the guy literally got jealous and killed the other guy's girlfriend. Like, tried to imprison her. And I think that intentionally politically was like, was seducing us into this kind of like the value of the romance. It was kind of like the other movie that we saw that was also propaganda from this year.
Enemy at the Gates?
Yes.
I came into this thinking that I was going to be the conspiracy theorist, but I guess Rivka. But like, so what you're trying? So
I feel like this is backed up in the film. I feel like this is.
What you're trying to
watch
say
this and tell me they're not in a love affair.
The CIA. Let me get this straight. The CIA is trying to. The CIA is trying to clean up their image with Brad Pitt and Robert Redford in a homoerotic rom-com. Is that the statement?
Yep, absolutely. You synthesized it perfectly for me. And I don't think that's far off.
Okay.
I think that's it.
That's a take. That is a take.
That's my take. And and again, I have lines written down. You're telling me twice the sex with half the foreplay? My God, you're hideous. Why do you even bother? Operation Dinner Out. Come on, it's in the writing. And I think that is really fascinating. It's part of the whole thing. But yes, I do think ultimately this was, like I said, my first watch, I was like, okay, we're going to get into some good propaganda. Like, and it's a great thing for us to talk about because this is like, I think how so many people are get to the place that they're at where they can just dehumanize whole groups of people and just carte blanche be like, CIA good, Robert Redford.
Well, I was just saying one of the like talking points is, you know, within the structure, it's still the CIA structure, but when you see it as one guy going rogue and going against the grain within the CIA, it's like, okay, he's the good guy but he's still a CIA agent, right? So but he's still within the same structure of the CIA. So is the CIA only good when somebody is going against the CIA, but it's also, you know, he's still within it's not like he's actually going against them. He's just going against his boss, essentially.
Yes.
So that was kind of like one of the talking points is that he's still the bad guy, but he's like the good guy in this narrative.
We're talking about Redford?
Robert Redford's character, yeah.
Definitely. Oh, this is an objectively evil man, Robert Redford's character. The shit that he pulls in this movie, I mean, like, talk about like a rom-com love story. This is like very close to You've Got Mail in the way that like Redford is fucking manipulating Brad Pitt throughout this movie. Like it starts off, he recruits him. Well, first he's like,
because
hey,
he thinks he's hot.
Well, obviously he thinks he's hot, but he's like, hey, like, he's a sharpshooter. Let's see if we could do this assassination. He does the assassination. It's good. Then he's like, I'm going to recruit this guy. He says, like, I ruined his life. The way that I got him to join the CIA is that, like, I ruined his life. I made his career in the military fucking miserable. I made all of his superior officers just like throw him around like he was fucking chum. And then so that I get to come in real cool in East Berlin, wherever they meet up, and is like, hey, you know what? I have actually maybe got a job for you over here. It's complete. It's so manipulative. And then like all the way through, like you said, Riv, like literally trading in his girlfriend for another hostage and then staging a breakup. Like this is sociopathic behavior from Robert Redford, but he's so charming and he's so beautiful and he's got those blue eyes. And you know what I got to say? This is a great Redford performance. Like he is just so comfortable like behind the camera and the way that he's talking with everybody and the way that he's just like that little smirk that he gives when he's getting one over on his other CIA cronies. And you're just like, oh man, I love this guy. But what he is doing is objectively evil.
I think what you were saying, Assad, about the or that framing that like inside the CIA, there's like the one guy going against the grain. And so we're supposed to sort of see this as almost like it's critical of the CIA enough, but it's not actually criticizing this. I feel like that's utilized so often in films like this. And it's kind of sophisticated. Like, and if it's not the CIA, it's like it's the police. It's like any sort of like, it's the military. There's always like, we're following the one guy who like, we're kind of like, well, yeah, so he's against this, but he fixes it at the end in order for the thing to
continue to exist. Yeah.
And continue to exist.
Yeah.
And
it's like the redemption arc. Yeah. His redemption arc.
Yeah. And therefore it's never actually criticizing or looking deeper and therefore can protect the entity for, further. And it makes people feel like they're kind of looking at something critical,
it's like capitalism, like, right? It's like if the right person does capitalism, then it can be fixed, right? Or does it need to be dismantled completely? The same. Can the police be reformed, or is it just the whole basis of the police is corrupt and it needs to be changed? Same thing with the CIA. It's not. Is Robert Redford saving the day by going against the bad CIA agents? Can he fix the CIA, or is the CIA just something that needs to be changed or dismantled? You know what I mean? Like that's again, it's like when you're still following, you're still using the safeguards. You're not going out of, when you're bowling, you're using those things. So it's the same thing. Like, you're not going completely going against the CIA because you're still at the end of the day part of that same group.
Yeah, we're like, we want the CIA, we want Redford's CIA. We don't want to change the system. And in that way, it felt kind of neoliberal to me. Yeah. Which makes sense given the era that we're in 2001.
And he also doesn't give a fuck about how the CIA operates. He's just trying to save hot Brad Pitt. His lover,
his boyfriend,
his wife.
That's it.
His wife, like, his only wife.
His only wife. That's all he cares about. He leaves at the end of the movie. He's like, I got what I tried to do. Like, you guys could keep running this like fucking corrupt, basically organized crime organization, and I don't care because like I got my guy out. It doesn't matter. So he doesn't care. He doesn't even care about how the CIA operates.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing where you go in and you destabilize a foreign nation and then you leave. That's kind of in the same parallel, right? So that's going back to what you were saying. Also, that's another reason why I picked the movie is because it's so indicative of like what's going on now and what happened back then. My parents were affected by the 1980s civil war in Lebanon. So like seeing it through the lens of Hollywood was just ridiculous to me. The way they like, again, you go in and it's like what they call the piss filter, where it's just everything's yellow. And like in Mexico is like when they in Narcos and in 1980s Beirut, everything is just like destroyed and yellow.
In contrast,
the yellow hues.
Germany was like blue.
Yeah. So they like they show as the backdrop of the Middle East as like this chaotic place that they go in and have to like save the day.
Yeah. Would you mind going into that a little bit more? Because I knew that it was set during in 1985. like pretty much Act 2 and Act 3 is all set in and around Beirut. But what was happening from, like, because I know very little about the Lebanese Civil War. So can you give us like a...
The Lebanese barely know what happened in the Civil War. I mean, again,
okay, got it.
Beirut, I will tell you this. Beirut is home of probably the most amount of foreign intelligence agencies in the world.
Wow.
Everyone is meddling. Everyone. MI6, Mossad, CIA, KGB, like everybody is there messing things up. It is, and that's the destabilization of obviously like Syria. And bro, again, I have to like go down insane rabbit holes to even start to understand who hates who's against who. And so and that's the point. That's the whole point, is to keep it like that. Random, like, you know, you have the South Lebanon army who like, and the Lebanese forces teaming up with Israel against, you know, the Muslim factions, and they go in and they go to refugee camps and they massacre people, and then they come back and assassinate. Again, it's this nonstop cycle of chaos and destruction, and it's at the hands of foreign intelligence agencies, right? So yeah, the Civil War was between just many different religious factions, or at least they painted as this religious war, like between Christians and Muslims. I personally was living in where the zone where like it was between the Muslims and the Christians, and what they call the Dahiya and I was actually there in 2006 when Israel and Lebanon went to war. So I got my taste of war as a teenager, you know, civilian. Again, this is why I have a lot of skin in the game as well. And and again, I didn't know the history as a young kid, and now as a, you know, now I'm in my 30s and I'm like able to actually do something about it, at least with the weapon of this, like the truth and our voices. So, but yeah, so I won't begin to tell you like, or I can't even unpack as much as I want to in terms of like why things happen, but I can tell you like historically, it was just a shit show, and I blame Western imperialism for everything that's happened in the U.S. And it's, again, started in 1948 with the not, I mean, when they actually, you know, Jordan and Syria and Lebanon and Palestine were all basically divided up the way that France and America and Britain wanted it, and we're still dealing with the ramifications of that today. So you see that as this like place that's just destroyed that needs to be saved, but the people who also destroyed it are the same people trying to save it.
Yeah, just more intervention.
Yeah, the white savior trope has been Hollywood's favorite thing to do, especially when it comes to South America and the Middle East.
And that's clearly the film's perspective on the conflict, or at least this conflict during this time. You know, they don't go to any lengths to explain at all the context of what is happening. All we are like, I think at one point, Redford is talking to the CIA guys when he's like, you know, being deposed, and he's like, what can I say? It was Beirut.
Yeah, that's Beirut.
Was not that much different than Nam is another line that I noted. Like, oh, really? Okay.
So like all the only legwork the movie does is just show you like, oh man, this violence was just absolute. It was just pervasive and everywhere and uncontainable. And also everyone who's bad was wearing a keffiyeh. We just like,
Facts,
these are the two things we got to get across to you.
That's it. Yeah. Like there was the characters didn't have names. The Middle Eastern characters didn't have names. There was no depth to any of the characters at all. They didn't, and a lot of the movie was there, like the doctor in the refugee camp, you know, was the white savior girl, right? And then the only reason that the Arab guy was saved is just because they were attached. Like he just so happened to be lucky enough to be like with her. So who gets to get saved? Who gets to get extracted out of the insane war zone?
Yeah, especially with the doctor storyline. I thought that whole piece was really interesting, and was the visual of like what you're talking about, where we follow him. We're like, we know he's getting into this because he's being used by the CIA, by Pitt. Like they're literally taking him out of saving children because they want to assassinate this sheik who they claim is going to enact some kind of terrorism, when you're like, but these are children who've already been harmed, and they're like, no, we have to do something good. Like it actually, even though it's supposed to be propaganda, when you look under it, you're like, it's still ridiculous. Like if you really look at it, he's taking this guy away, and then when he like watches him walk off and like the American gets to kind of peek behind, like hide and stay safe and watch him get killed in the quote unquote crossfires. Like again, you actually never see an American body pick up a gun, even though they're in the CIA. Like they never actually do anything violent. It's always like taking pills or just like these really kind of like things that they just seem more sophisticated violence. And then like all of the things that are dehumanizing and animalistic are left for brown bodies. So then you watch this doctor walk into the crossfires, and it only underlines what you're saying, is that the political messages we're supposed to think, well, it's very complicated and they're actually not humane and don't understand war. And the American is there to sort of like make things make sense. But if they can't, they'll just kind of have to leave, and too bad.
And as we see today also, with social media, at least we get like live, raw, footage from these war zones. And the heroes are not the white. I mean, there are people that go in, but they can leave. Like you have the British and the American doctors who go in, and I love that people are trying to do something and use their talents. However, but it's the people that don't have the option, the people that grew up there, studied the being a doctor, being a journalist, all these things, and they stick it out. They can't escape. They are performing surgery after surgery after surgery. So like the fact that they highlighted a white British woman as like the savior of the refugee camp also is like reinforcing that stereotype and trope of like, again, the person that goes in, saves the day. But I'm sure there was obviously in the background 100 other Arab, brown and black people being enacting some kind of healthcare as well.
And it was interesting. They don't even, they call her a fanatic, right? Like that she's a fanatic. That's like the closest they'll get. But if she was brown, she'd immediately be a terrorist.
Right.
It was just like those kind of the writing in it, and how it's meant to teach this audience in 2001 exactly how they're supposed to take in what's going to happen next.
They also breadcrumb us, right? Because the writing also gave us a little bit where it's like she mentions that at the end, I forget how deep into the end was it, but like they had this conversation, and she says, well, it is Americans going in and or like she says something about the weapons. I think she was like, I don't know if you guys remember because you guys watched it recently. She was basically saying that, well, it's America's weapons, right?
Yeah.
Like we're involved. We're the problem as well. So at least that was like that was one of the moments where I paused and I was like, wait, did they actually admit something? But I feel like it was just kind of glazed over, right?
Yeah. Did they just make a point? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think they do that. It's like the same way the trope of like having the one, I'm the good guy in the midst of bad apples. I think that happens as I'm like watching more and more films, is like an important part of some of this propaganda really, is like you have to name it enough that the character who has like she has good politics, right? Someone has to say it so we can be like, someone said it. But the issue isn't, so we feel good, but the issue is, again, we're not the CIA, it's the bad actors within it.
Right.
I think because I caught that too.
Yeah, but she's also in the middle of an argument with Robert Redford, who is basically like, "Oh, you work for," and because I agree with everything you're saying about she's another white savior character who works for this aid organization. We don't see any like brown people that she's, other than the doctor, that are like doing the boots on the ground work for this organization. But then Redford has the audacity to come and be like, "Oh, you work for one of those international aid organizations, huh? Must be nice, like not picking a side and sometimes helping terrorists and like sometimes helping our enemy. How fucking nice that must be for you to not live in the real world. And that's when she like pushes back. So like, you're right. She makes that point. She names the thing, but she's arguing against the hero of the movie, Robert Redford. So the audience is like, well,
who again? This is why the love story angle is important, because we also think in that moment like, oh, well, he's also saying that because he loves this guy, which is fucked up. So we kind of in some ways stay with him as the hero because we're like, he's just ultimately trying to protect his wifey because she's the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she's going to get him killed in her terrorist organizations.
They've already framed her as the crazy one, too. So even if she said America's is the one at fault, she's just the great, like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's crazy.
Right. And she, in some way, too, kind of like has shame. They do that classic thing where, like, she can't go back to London because she would become ultimately a political prisoner, which she does because the bombing, there were people there. And like she has this shame about that, you know, and I'm sure it's very complex, but like I grew up visiting different political prisoners and like there's that complexity, but ultimately there is an understanding of like knowing what might knowing what one is involved with and the bigger where they also place her as like, I'm just here for the children. I don't have any political literacy. And you're like, oh, come on. I think she probably fucking does.
But yeah, and I think again, if we're talking more quotes, the when Frank approached me about doing this podcast, I sent him a clip today actually of something that was like such a slam dunk of a perfect quote where like I guess like one of the secretaries comes in and she's like asking him like, what does this have to do with you? Robert Redford goes, money, free trade, microchips, toaster ovens. And she goes, and what does that have to do with you? And he goes, nothing. Again, why do they go in and do all this stuff? It's for capitalism. At the end of the day, it's all money.
It's all about it always has been about protecting American economic interests and corporate interests. That's why 99% of the foreign intervention that this fucking country and the CIA have done historically is because of, especially in the Middle East, especially in South America.
I mean, even Africa. Like you go in, you destabilize, you basically just take all the resources from that place, and then you're like, why is this place so poor? It's like because you literally took everything that could make them economically stable. Then you have the audacity to like call them a third world country where you like literally you made it happen.
Well, then you can go in like he does. I thought one of the gruesome images of him at the top where he is in the prison getting out and he throws one of the prisoners a stick of gum.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, exactly what you're talking about. Then you can go back and throw a stick of gum.
And it's all fixed. Yeah.
It's so sick, but you're still kind of like, oh, I guess you're the hero because like they need to stick, and it's so disgusting. It's like a really disgusting, gruesome image as well.
I did in researching this movie because I was like, because this is maybe some of the strongest CIA propaganda I've ever seen, which is wild that like anyone, it's like you could kind of get a movie about the FBI and be like, yeah, I guess they like stop, like organized, whatever. FBI is terrible, but it's shocking that someone was like, I need to write a movie that completely whitewashes the entire CIA's history. And so I was just doing some like Googling. I just Googled the question, name one good thing the CIA has done. And I found because we all know the terrible things. Like they're famous, like we all know about like fucking MK Ultra. We all know about like the Bay of Pigs invasion and all of the intervention in like Cuba.
Well, we all in quotes. Yeah.
We all quote.
Like, so we like, all yeah, like in this.
We all on this podcast. But I mean, like uncountable amount of coups of democratically elected like leaders around the world, like the secret torture program at Guantanamo. Like these are public giant fucking stains on this criminal agency that's public knowledge. And I Google name one good thing the CIA has done. Everything that I found were just like multiple pieces that was like, Has the CIA done more harm than good? Or like, we actually can't name a good thing that the CIA has done. And then the top 2 hits came from the CIA itself. And it was like the CIA's contribution to technological advancements in America. And I'm like, I don't think this agency has ever done anything good. Not a single good thing. Why don't we know about a good thing the CIA has done? I just like, that's it. Because this movie gives it such shine. And I was like flabbergasted. Because like, no one thinks that the CIA is good.
We should write a strongly worded piece of mail to the CIA. You know, where are the CIA parks and wildlife restoration projects? CIA, come on.
What are the terrible international plots that they've stopped? You know, that have like saved millions of Americans' lives. I haven't heard of fucking one that they've ever done.
I think if the CIA stops the person in the White House, that would be a good start. So
sure. I mean, they have maybe done that before in 1963.
Yep. Yeah, but he was the only one. He was the only one saying the things that we want presidents to be saying.
I mean, Kennedy did say he's like, I want to smash the CIA into like a million pieces. Like he was ready to do it. Just saying.
Along with registering AIPAC as a foreign agent and also not allowing Israel to have nuclear weapons. So we can go down those.
Kennedy was saying that too? Oh, I did not know that.
Literally like 2 months after he said he wanted to register foreign AIPAC as a foreign agent, he got killed.
Oh,
oh man.
So that one's for Rivka.
Yeah.
For a resident conspiracy theorist.
I mean, you have the Apollo affair too. Again, not to go off on too much of a tangent, but like we lost a lot of radioactive material in America, and it just so happened that like Israel also started their nuclear program in a similar time. So it was called the Apollo affair for all the listeners. Go look that up. And then we were trying to like regulate that also. Their nuclear program, and so Kennedy was trying to do that, and also with register AIPAC as a foreign agent, and they still haven't been registered as a foreign agent to this day.
No, I did know that, yeah.
And then Lyndon B. Johnson took over after Kennedy's assassination, and then just like forgot about it. He's like, oh, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
so yeah, CIA guys, acronyms, we love it. We love the acronyms here.
Which is why movies like this are so important, because I think it's true. You can't even Google a good thing, but you leave this and you're like, aviators.
Yeah.
Stick of gum, a pocket knife, and a smile. Like, sounds pretty fucking cool. Like, it does its job. The writing had some lines in this one.
I do love spy movies. Like I feel like spy movies fall into there's like a whole bucket of movies about things that I like in real life I hate, but in film I love. Like the financial industry is another one. Like I can watch, like I love a movie like Margin Call, where it's just a bunch of fucking high end bankers just fucking talking shit at each other and doing like business jargon and stuff. And I'm like, or like the TV show Industry,
the Big Short or something.
The Big Short. I'm like, I love that shit. Even though like I know in real life I hate these people. Spy movies, same thing. Like I like Slow Horses, the Apple like huge fan. I love spy stories, but like I know inherently these are all bad people.
The title of the freaking movie is Spy Game. Like that's how they treat it.
Yeah.
As a game. It's literally like in the title. They're playing games with people's lives, and they've done it over and over and over for decades. So we are countering that, I think, with the independent media. Mm-hmm. Exposing. I mean, again, you guys didn't even like. I've been kind of not singularly focused, but like basically very focused on a certain select themes on the podcast lately. So like I've heard about these things where even Frank working with Mehdi, maybe you haven't heard about the AIPAC stuff and Kennedy and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So even people that are in the know might not know all the details as well, and it's done on purpose. Like we didn't learn about it in school. We didn't learn about any of the other genocides. We learned like you really start unpacking and questioning everything that you've learned since you were a kid. especially post 9/11 too.
Big time. It's a huge deprogramming. I think more people are getting wise to it, especially with independent media and more people just like talking about it and making it common known, for sure.
Because that's another thing. Going back to why we made Habibi House, and tying it into this, like you what most people don't go. Most people from America are like not going and vacationing in Lebanon or Palestine or any of those countries around there. So their only association or meeting like an Arab person is like through Hollywood, through movies. So that's like the brainwashing that has happened, since its inception, and it was on purpose. We call it a conspiracy, but like Hollywood is an arm of the war machine. It is the thing that manufacturers consent to like when September 11th happens, everyone in America is like, yeah, go kill those brown people overseas. Like we don't care. Like that's all they've seen. It's like they've been the bad guy over and over and over in movies. So that's like the overarching theme of these of the American population is like, yeah, hell yeah, like what are we waiting for? Let's go. Let's go destroy them, basically. So with Habibi House, like we do want to talk about war and the suffering and the pain, but we also want to counter that narrative too. It's like we have depth, we have stories, we laugh, we have fun. Like there is a culture of dancing. Like I mean, it's through the silver lining of this insanely tragic time is that we are also showing we are exposing the good side of that culture too. We are going against all that. So just like how the tropes are seen in this movie over and over and over, we're countering that narrative and showing that like they're just like, so they don't give us lines in this movie as the Palestinians and Lebanese. Like we're here making the lines ourselves, basically. So but yeah, I appreciate you guys even like having me on to talk about this. But
I mean, of course, dude. And I so appreciate the work that you're doing, and like now working for Mehdi, I have learned so much. I'm from an Italian American background, white suburban New Jersey upbringing. Like 99% of my town was white. So I am also now learning so much in the last couple of years, and it has been like heartbreaking on one hand, obviously, but also like really beautiful to just learn so much more about like just the different people out there, history, cultures, the joy, the love, the food, the music, like all of it. So that counter is extremely important. So and shows like that, like what you guys are doing at Habibi House is like 100% that, it's like, and that's something we try to do on this show is like, like remain critical, remain like, give solid analysis, but also like, have joy, have fun, bring people in rather than like pushing people away. So
facts. Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it for the movie conversation. So now we have 3 awards that we give to each movie that we talk about. Our first award is the Best Politics Award. So this goes to the character with the best politics in this movie, and this is gonna be a tough one.
The aid worker, I don't know.
Yeah, one of the aid workers for sure. I'm hesitant to give it to Elizabeth, the white British woman.
I mean, she has, from what we know, she does have good politics. Like the film is making her the white savior. From what we know, she is pretty. She's done some pretty badass activism work.
Are you guys familiar with Watermelon Pictures?
Oh yeah,
I have. Yes, yeah.
Alana Hadid's company.
Yeah, she's the creative director there. And shout out Hamza and Badia. Also, the two. Their father actually started a movie company in the 1970s, and they've carried the basically made their own thing. And so they're also independent media doing countering the narrative with in the movie and TV sphere. Anyway, they have a movie called The Teacher where there is an Elizabeth character where it's like the white, but she's kind of like a extra, not an extra, but like a person that's not one of the main characters. She's just
Like supporting.
kind of like a supporting actress, because the movie is the main characters are the brown people, which is amazing to see. Like Farah Nabolsi is the director. She's Oscar.
Yeah, I've seen a trailer for it. It looks like a really amazing film.
Seeing that in LA was a crazy experience. Like that's where we're at, where we can see what we've seen over and over in Hollywood, and see the opposite that we've been kind of like wanting to see, the other stories, other narratives being told. And she actually filmed the entire movie in the West Bank.
Oh wow!
Right before October 2023, she like wrapped in September. It was crazy. Anyway, so she released the film in September 2023. So yeah, wild. It was actually doing all the movie film festivals. It was doing all the tours basically while, and then that happened essentially. So yeah, really, really incredible piece of work. And shout out Watermelon Pictures. Hopefully you guys can do some more analysis on their movies, and watch their stuff. If you guys are ever in LA, we're also working with them, like doing screenings around LA as well.
Oh hell yeah!
So we have like a network of like 30 to 40 venues that are like this underground network ready to do any screening at any time. So whenever any movie theater that has a problem with any of the movies, not a big deal.
Don't fucking hate them.
Did they also produce The Encampments? Was I right about that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a stunning documentary. I did get to see that. Incredible.
We were talking about the timeline of events, like, we were seeing Mahmoud Khalil talking about his motivations and his mission, and then obviously he was kidnapped and disappeared, and then shortly after seeing that movie he was released. But again, they are a great organization. So yeah, but the reason why I mentioned that is because they do a good job of showing the white savior kind of like aid worker, volunteer in a good way too. So
okay, cool.
I think they do a better job of like the Elizabeth character in War Game.
Better than Spy
Game.
Better than Tony Scott's Spy Game. Wow.
The Doctor, I mean, if we're giving best politics and to that regard, I guess that the Doctor too, we have to assume, has pretty good.
Yeah,
he's just in the wrong place.
The limited amount that they give him any agency, or like you said, lines, like ability to speak, other than saying like, hey, when you kill someone, what's that like?
I'll give the award to Kafia guy 1. Like if you go to the credits, I'm sure they have like Arab guy, Arab 1, Arab 2. So I'll give them that award.
Love that. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
they probably share similar politics to me.
Okay, so this one's probably going to be a more crowded field. Might have to fight it out. This is worst politics. This goes to the character with the worst politics in the movie.
I'm going Nathan Muir, Robert Redford.
The Robert Redford.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, he's the guy who manipulated everybody. He might have did one good thing, but this on the scales of justice, I think it's the negative really outweighs the positive at the end. He's net negative at the end of the movie.
He like articulates some really like horrific politics, or just like in the way that he operates as a CIA agent. He says like, yes, this is a game. Like, I'm playing a game. I am playing with people's lives as if it were a game, and I do not give a shit what happens to them. We have to sacrifice people. People are so fucking lucky that they have us. They don't even know how lucky we are. And then when Brad Pitt asks him after the bombing and the mission goes fucking sideways, he's like, are you happy? And Robert Redford says, 74 casualties, 1 leveled city block, and 1 dead terrorist. Yeah, I'm happy. Like, fuck you. Was he worst politics?
I remember that scene. Was he being sarcastic, or I don't know. I thought he might have been.
I think he was being sincere.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
okay.
I think he was being sincere. And that kind of causes Bishop, his protege / love of his life, to want to get away, right? But then ultimately, when he after imprisoning his girlfriend, is heroic because he does Operation Dinner Out, and like Pitt's character kind of puts it together. You're like, he gets, again, it's so evil because you're like, oh, well, he's redeemed because he did this one thing for this one guy in the name of love. And we can kind of forget about all the bodies and all of the people in his aftermath. There's a scene, I did want to mention this scene because it struck me as like when they're in a deep lover's spat, they're like at the top of a building. Do you remember? They're like at the top of a building and there's chairs involved. And I think Bishop is really upset with, because he's like.
It's after the East Berlin, when he doesn't get the guy across the border.
Yes. And he's like getting mad at him because he's like, they're in this lover's spat and he's like, you didn't. This guy could have died. And he's like, well, you would have died. And they're talking about lives. And then Pitt picks up a chair and like throws it off the roof. And I'm like, this is a perfect analogy of like the problem with their whole mentality. I'm like, you just killed someone. Like you just threw a chair off a roof in a lover's spat. And like, you're worried about lives. You don't give a fuck about lives. Like, it's just so how like it just, none of it matters. So I think I'm nominating Bishop too. I think Bishop is full of fucking shit also for like he was trained well. He's full of shit. Like, I don't think he's gonna change for Elizabeth.
Yeah, I think he's just the junior. I mean, he's the junior version. He's like the mini. Yeah. He's the mini version of Nathan, right? So anytime they're kind of interacting, it's like it's the same person with two sides of them, kind of.
So he gets a nomination.
I also wanted to bring up this. I forgot about it, but I just remembered. Going back to the capitalist nature of things, it's like there was like a Mexican restaurant, mentioned at one point. He's like, there's a Mexican restaurant in Beirut. I'm impressed. Like, what?
Oh,
why did they? Yeah, and he's literally
they're talking about while they're like
getting shot at. Yeah,
getting shot at.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'll take you on a date there.
I'll get you flowers. And,
it's like these migas.
He literally says
they're gonna
at
love
one
these.
point, I will get you flowers. I think it's a real. Yeah, it's.
The more we talk about it, the more I agree.
It's in the script. It's not even.
It's in the text.
And I think Redford plays into it, and I think it's like a lot. I mean, you see this with a lot of. Anyways, it's interesting, and like if he is playing this closeted character, it just goes to his own. I'm sure he's homophobic. I'm sure all the things on top of it. All right, our last category is best supporting character. This goes to the supporting character. I mean, we kind of already addressed this, but like the character or characters that this movie should actually be about.
Oh, I mean, this should just be the same movie, just told from all of the perspectives of all of the other countries and peoples that these guys are fucking intervening. Yeah. Just like a history of how these guys show up and just fucking destabilize entire societies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
just some solemn yups.
Yep. Again, I see a Kafia. I say, okay, that's the best supporting character. So those guys, they were really pantomiming very well. With no, they did the best they could with no lines. So
yeah,
they're like, don't. Get out of my way, that's how they were portrayed. But yeah, if there was an Oscar category for best stereotyped actors, they would have won that for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just best broad stereotype. Yeah. Well, Assad, dude, this is a really great conversation. This did everything. Yeah. This did everything that we love in this. We talked about this homoerotic love affair, conspiracy theories. The Kennedy assassination got brought into it, but we also offered some really great analysis. So thanks for selecting this movie. I was like, when you suggested it, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. And then like 30 minutes into it, I was like, fuck yes, this is. Oh, fuck, we have so much to talk about.
And I want I have like a closing thing about Habibi House too.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I was going to ask you is like what like how do you practice your politics in your everyday life? And this could be anything. This could be like hosting Habibi House. This could be like a different organization you work with. This could be like a daily practice that you do on your own. So what does that mean to you?
Shout out to Arab Council and Little Arabia District in OC. We're working with them actually through food. It started with a food clip on our podcast that went like viral within LA. We were shouting out Middle Eastern restaurants and friendly ones. So essentially that goes viral. We get reached out to or by these organizations, and I get thrown into politics. And as Anthony Bourdain said, food is political. So like we're helping move the needle to get MENA, Middle East North African, on the census. It is
very cool.
Already kind of like federally recognized, but we're trying to get it recognized 100% in California. We're again getting breadcrumbed by the Western imperialists because Middle East is also a colonial term. So we people prefer SWANA or something of that nature where it's Middle East is not portrayed, but we literally have to like put white on the census because we're grouped in with we don't get the funding. If there's health diseases that run rampant in the Middle Eastern community, they don't know. There's no data to like separate us from white people and stuff. So yeah, we've been actively involved in initiatives like that. So yeah, that's through either Habibi House Podcast or MENA Creator Club. So we are doing that. So yeah, that's I guess one good major way I practice my politics in real life.
It's an important one, yeah.
Reclaiming our political power, because we, Lord knows, we need to at least, some people got to play the game from the inside. Some people got to play it from the outside. And I feel like we're kind of doing both.
And did you have the one last closing thought on Habibi House?
I was just going to say I have something a little, it's like at Habibi House, we spend a lot of time talking about who gets to tell the story. Spy Game is well written, well acted, but it still centers U.S. power and sidelines Arab humanity. If we're going to critique capitalism through film, we have to ask who profits from this narrative and who gets buried under it.
Damn,
that's beautiful.
And I guess, and then at Habibi House, we give voices to the historically silenced.
And we will absolutely link to Habibi House in the episode show notes and your podcast players. You can go check you guys out. Dude, thank you so much. This was a really special one. I appreciate it.
100%.
Thank you.
Anytime, man. And Rivka, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I will literally now go down the rabbit hole of this homoerotic CIA spiral. So
To get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby.
Thank you all for listening. Make sure to subscribe on Instagram and TikTok. And if you want to support this show and get access to our Patreon episodes, that link is in the episode description in your podcast player or at mvcpod.com.
Also, a reminder that we donate our ad space, so if you're part of a leftist or progressive organization and you would like to run an ad on this program, email us at moviesvscapitalism@gmail.com.
For next week, we'll be watching the 1993 Steven Spielberg classic, Jurassic Park.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.